Hello, everybody. Wow, we got quite a group right here. Let's see. Hello, New Master. Hello, Condor. Hello, IVV, or whatever reason. 78 and May. How you doing? Well, today, I guess might as well start it. Transition. Here we go. And of course, here is our pre-recorded Artcast. Oh yeah, I added Rowan to the wall. Cool, huh? Let's see. Did it... Are we doing that? There we go. Very good. And I've got it in auto. Let's see. Ah, yeah, that's much better. For some reason, I can't get rid of those black bars. I'll look into it, though. But anyway. Yeah, and then we'll put our... I'll put my quality down real low so we can just... But anyway, this is another pre-recorded Artcast. You'll get the same effect if I did it live, but this is a special commission because it is for our own new master, who is... This is going to be the cover to one of his stories that he's writing. I think I have the original note. Yeah, I kept it by my side because it had all the details. Yeah, it was a bit different. I didn't get it through PayPal or email submissions or anything like that. I actually got a handwritten letter. Yeah, this is going to be about a vampire chem... Oh God, I'm horrible with names. You know that. Kemzatz? Noob, how would you pronounce that? Anyway, he is a vampire... a roguish vampire on his way through an adventure, and you'll see he's got a companion, and he will have to deal with many nefarious obstacles along his way. But let's see now. Yeah, this was a bit rough. I had Kamuzatz. Right on. Oh, that's right. I got all your little, I got the comment bar still in there. That's cool. I don't have to update that at all. That's neat. Maybe I can move this up here so you guys can see the pencil settings. Let's see. Yeah, this is a little tricky. I cheated a little bit, as you'll see. I used some models, and not my own models. I used the ones you get from Clip Studio. Even though I say that's perfectly okay in order to get some of the things you need to do. Let's see. Yeah, thank you. Jeez. Hey, if you guys didn't do it, I was about to. Holy crap. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Grandma's doing fine. Actually, we've gotten some progress. She's seen many doctors, and one of them suggested to give her a shot of, oh God, it's not an epidural. It's something. They're going to put cartilage in between her bones, and hopefully that'll give her some cushion, and she'll be able to move around a little more. She's still... Man, that stint in the hospital where they had to get her heart starting again. That kind of really wore her down. Hey, if you find a DVD called Stan Lee's Mutant Monsters and Marvels, buy it. Yeah, I've got it. I've got it on VHS. I found it in a... Oh, God. I actually got it from a dollar store, if you can believe that. And it was a 2 VHS set. Did you post it? Did you post the picture, May? Anyway, post that picture and then we'll take a look at it. But anyway, yeah, I just, it's a little, I guess it's a little hard for me to do it without an actual visual to go on. And I was thinking, oh, well, vampires. And I didn't want to do anything from an actual picture. I think the only reference I used... What's this? Hey, oh, I just got a comment on something. Here, just wait a second. I think the only reference I ever used was I interrupted my own video. I think the only reference I used was the elf from Warcraft. World of Warcraft, to figure out what the eyebrows would look like, because Noob specifically said make the eyebrows look like the elves from World of Warcraft. So, this is a vampire of elvish descent. I guess that's kind of important. But anyway, hey, I just got a comment, and this is weird. Hey, Rockulettes. Join the Fans of Rockula Facebook page. Several cast and crew members are already on board. We just want to rock you. Lol. Apparently, on my Rockula video, this is just a fresh comment, just seconds ago. And apparently, Rockula has a Facebook page. I guess they're trying to get underground status. Oh, hold on. Yeah, we're still good. YouTube says we're dipping, but I think that's just me checking my phone real quick. Hello, Amelina 44. How are you doing? I'm doing just fine. CR, the Thrifty Finds Gmail isn't working. Huh. That's weird. I gotta check that out. I've got another episode put away, so I gotta actually film that. When I was doing it where I basically edit the video together, I'm getting pretty good at making sure I don't have any dead spots when I do record this. Unless something happens where I absolutely have to get up and run away from the computer for an emergency, I'm pretty good at stopping it. There is no pause button on OBS. There's not even a way for me to pause this right now. If I want to, I have to start over from the very beginning, which is annoying. In fact, I was checking out OBS's forum pages, and they said that's the one thing everyone's kind of clamoring for. Oh, hey, Leslie. I am doing a book cover featuring a elf vampire and his smoke familiar, his shadow familiar. But anyway. Oh, I gotta check this out. May's picture. But anyway, I find out when I sit and I edit and make sure that I watch the whole thing. Well, actually, I speed up the video until it's about like an hour and a half. and then I sit and watch the whole thing to make sure everything works good. There's a few transitions here and there. So yeah, it takes about a little bit less long, a little bit shorter than just streaming the whole thing with all the interruptions and phone calls. Oh God, I said phone call. I know there's going to be a phone call as soon as I said that. It's about that time where all of Grandma's children start calling in to see how she's doing. Super! Hey, how's it going? But anyway, this is definitely more effective because it's all here, and I don't, it's not broken apart and stop and go, stop and go. Also, I can draw for the 10 minutes and then do that anytime. I don't have to set aside one whole hour to make sure that I am absolutely in front of the computer. Oh God, I've still got to open this. Oh, they're little ants. The bottom, she's classy, peaceful, and naive, and she's supposed to be a queen ant. She's kind of cute. Anyway, let's see. Where are we at? Oh, we're inking already. Wow. That's cool. Noob, put in a link to your story. Put a link in your story already, so we can, so people can see it. I gotta add the link to the pages myself. Hello, Seeley. Hello, Honeycoon. Who am I drawing? I'm drawing an original creation of our own Noob Master here. Here we go. There's his link. He just put it on. Now, this is weird. YouTube says that it's low, but my rig says we're at 33%. We're at 30 frames per second. We're only using 23% of the computer's CPU. Which I guess is good. That's a quarter, right? That shouldn't be too bad. And I've got other things hooked up. Oh well. Hey, Nathan. Cool. I'm glad you can join. Actually, I have a bunch of these Artcasts saved up that I can do this. Because I would save... There was a period where I wasn't broadcasting anything, but I was saving a bunch of stuff. In fact, I have footage for... let's see. I got footage for a Linda drawing and a footage for a Nicole from Gumball drawing. Joker! How's it going? Oh, right on. Run on an RPG. Oh, Seeley, I said hello to you. I'm not trying to leave you out. Yeah, why is YouTube being such a butt? Huh. Yeah, I got Nicole and Alice. Alice from The Critic. I put all those into one video. In fact, it's uploaded onto YouTube, but I have it set to private. Oh, and here's another thing I think I'm going to do. I have all the Hearthstone and Let's Plays. I have them unlisted, but I put them in a playlist. So if you want to watch those, just go to the front page, my front page, and go to the playlist, and you'll be able to watch them. Hey, Zangoose, how's it going? So what I'm thinking about doing is keeping the newest video that I make from every like if I make an Overwatch video, or if I make a Hearthstone video, then I am going to keep that one public. We're going to keep one public, and then if I make another one, then I'm going to unlist that one and add it to the playlist. So it'll be like there's one Hearthstone video that's public all the time, but it'll be a different one. So that way it rotates out. Because I know there's a complaint. I think that's a good balance of what's going on, because people complain that there's too many Let's Play videos now in my catalog, and it clutters up everything, and people can't get to the familiar faces and everything. Oh, see you, Joe. You be cool. But on the other hand, I've tried moving it to different, other accounts and Twitch and all that stuff, and people just don't find it. So, I think that's a good compromise in order to keep the audience that I have here on my main channel, and then yet not have to clutter up everything. And I'll make sure that people know about it. I'm going to probably make an update video or an actual formal video for the channel where I explain what Familiar Faces is and the fact that I play Hearthstone and Overwatch and all that kind of stuff. Oh, thank you, Tanya. Oh, good. I heard good things about Wonder Woman. Did someone commission the vampire from Dreadfleet? No, this is Noob Master's original character. What was it? Core Camzots. I'm mispronouncing that, but anyway. Again, I got a lovely letter explaining everything. Yeah, yeah, I could draw a D&D party. That was basically what I did for the anniversary video. Back when I didn't even have Seiya, which would actually have made everything a lot easier. I used just plain old Photoshop without any of the bells or whistles or stabilizers or anything like that. Sheesh. That was how long ago? God, Grandpa had just died. Both Grandpa and Dad had just died, and that's when I did that. But anyway, yeah, I could probably do a D&D thing. I mean, I think this came out like a little bit more cartoony than I would had liked. But again, that's kind of what mode I've been in. And I've gotten a bunch of cartoony commissions and stuff like that. I should start looking to. God, there's one artist that works on like Batman and Superman comics, like a Batman and Superman comics. I don't know what it was. He did a run with where Batman and Superman basically visited the Marvel universe, but it wasn't the Marvel universe. It was a universe where Thor was like an ice giant, and he had a magic axe, and like instead of Wasp, there was Ant Queen, or it's basically just knockoff Marvel characters for some reason. Instead of Spider-Man, they had Bug. It was actually a pretty neat run, and I liked that art style that they had in that. It was really good. Uh, I think. Let's see. I think. Hmm, yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. I started reading the other thing. What about Aquaman and okay, so you wanted it to be. I figured you wanted. I figured my style would be okay, unless you specifically said, otherwise. Well, no, she wasn't. She was like, she had a stinger and she could fly. Uh, and I forget. Maybe I'm thinking of something different. But she looked like an ant. She was red like an ant. Hey, pie flavored. Yeah, there you go. You can see the model that I used underneath. Even though I didn't follow it directly, I had a lot of trouble with this sleeve. I'm probably gonna. I got some commissions, and I probably need to. Oh, thanks, Seely. I will. I. So I'll probably just be abusing the models in the days to come. Actually, I'm pretty good at making my own in Blender or in Sculptress when I need to. Uh, but I just kind of did that. Yeah, maybe I can look up what what's it was a weird run. It also had a sub story featuring Bat Zaro and Bozaro, and they were on the Watchtower, and they were trying to like go to different dimensions because they were trying to follow Superman and Batman into the same alternate dimension that they had gone to. Uh, but they screwed up the. I don't know. For some reason, the Watchtower in this comic had. Oh, that's how I'm trying to think. They had like an interdimensional portal, so I know they could visit other dimensions. What had happened is, do I draw these by mouse or stencil? I use a stencil. In fact, I use a. What is this? A Wacom. I don't know. It's the newest Wacom. It's like the cheapest. It's like the $50 model that they have, or the $60 model. But what was I going to say? Oh yeah, it was interesting. I got to actually check that out and figure out how that ended, because the cliffhanger to that comic is Bizarro ended up visiting Terry Guinness from Batman Beyond. I don't know if he went through another dimension or if he went through time, but he ended up visiting Terry Guinness. And Bat Zaro ended up meeting Red Sun Superman. So it was like, ooh, wow, this is interesting. And like I said, the artwork was really good. I'm gonna have to look it up and see who the artist was. I got that comic back in college. Damn. That was back when I could go into the. I had the money to just go into the. I wasn't going in every other week and buying stories just to follow them, but I was going in every once in a while, and I would pick up issues with artwork that I really really liked. Like I picked up that because I liked the artwork, but the story was pretty good too. That's when I saw the original Power Pack. Actually, that run by Guru. Guru Studio. I don't know. It's a studio that does the Power Pack, and they do the new Gwyn Pool and stuff like that. Hello, Future TV. Also picked up a bunch of issues of the Goon. Oh, it was a nice little comic book store. I think it was called Pop Culture something. It was. We had two of them next to the college over on the ASU campus, over nearby the bus. Yeah, Guru Hiru. Yeah, that's it. That's the studio. But anyway, we had like two comic book stores next to the old busted art hall. It wasn't an art hall. It was just an art building. It was old and dilapidated. When I went to ASU, there was a bunch of buildings that were dilapidated. Turns out that what do you call them? The inspectors just found a whole bunch of problems. But this was like old. It wasn't dilapidated, but it was clearly older. It was like a bunch of just plain wooden walls, and like it had 2 stories, and that was about it. It was the entry level classes, and then I would later go on to visit all the like I said, I had a bunch of shitty entry level classes with a bunch of snooty grad student teachers, and then I would inexplicably be paired with the heads of every single department, and those were the best. Like I was with the head of the ceramics department when I had to take a side course, and she really helped me figure out form. Actually, I was with the head of the department when it came to woodworking. Just a bunch of really interesting classes. I learned that our print studio was like the 3rd best in the nation, so we had that as, you know, something to be proud of. God, thanks for the trip down memory lane. Wait, Jeepers Creepers 3? Oh yeah, I think I've heard. Wait, there was 1 and there was 2. I actually like Jeepers Creepers 1. It was. It sort of what it was. Oh, here you can see I stole the hand from the model, and I readjusted it. I'm drawing a book cover, Seeley. But yeah, I kind of liked Jeepers Creepers 1. Jeepers Creepers 2 was fine. It was kind of more of the same, so I wasn't too into it. I mean, it wasn't more of the same. It had the context of the father and the revenge story and all that stuff, and creepy ending. But, you know. Woodshop was fun. Those kids. Oh yeah. Well, there was one time when the tools were a bit intimidating. I had to. We wore the gloves and the goggles and all that stuff. There was one time I was at the bandsaw and I wasn't in my class. I mean, the class was in session. Our teacher basically just said, "Hey, if you need to work on anything, just come in and use the machines if no one's using on them. If the class isn't using them, then you're free to go." And so I was using this not bandsaw, this ribbon saw or something, and I thought I'd broken the damn thing. And I immediately, here I was like this 21-year-old college student, and all of a sudden I regress back to like a fifth grader because I found the teacher that was going and I said, I don't, the saw. And then he opened it up and he's like, you tried to make too much of a turn. You knocked it off of its thing. It's fine. This happens all the time. And I was like, oh God, thank goodness. And then I guess I was pretty good. There was one other time when I tried to use the sander, this little rotation sander that they had, because I didn't have anything else. But anyway, I booted this thing up and I was like, I'll just hold this little piece of wood next to this big belt sander and I'll get a nice clean thing. And as soon as I held it to it, it flew out of my hand and hit smack straight into the wall at a very high velocity. Ended up denting the wood. I don't know what would have happened if anyone was standing there at the time. Luckily, no one saw what it was. And yeah, that was another time. Let's just say I was a little bit more careful after those first two incidents. I'll tell you that I wasn't really feeling this until I started coloring it, and you'll see why in a little bit. Again, I was kind of a little bit too worried that it was a little bit too cartoony, but and again, I didn't have a style in mind. I'm sure if I had taken the time to look up those superhero comics, I probably would have just aped that style. Oh, and also you won't see the finished project because I forgot the gold trim, which I added to the final part, noob. So you'll be able to see that. Hello, Yubi. How's it going? I was actually really excited. Not excited. I was very pleased with the way that Scimitar came out. Just a nice serrated edge on that per the notes I received. Have I ever heard of Mummies Alive? Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh hey Pest, how's it going? How's your cartoon show? For those who don't know, Pest is the creator of Failing Upwards, which just had a very successful crowdfunding. And we're all very excited about that. But Mummies Alive, yeah, I thought that was cool. It was kind of like aping... Deke was trying to ape off Power Rangers, or like, you know, that the kind of Sentai phase that was everyone was going through. And that was an interesting twist on it. What with the mummies instead of like dinosaurs and stuff like that. Ah, beautiful, beautiful. Good voice work. Yeah, that mummy. Let's see. I forget their names, but yeah, the mummy with the panther or the cat theme. That was she was voiced by Cree Summers, of course. Towards the tail end, Deke actually did manage to get. Oh, they always had access to talent, but they still had a lot of it during the '90s, even when their studio was kind of going, downhill. I remember the last couple things were like, they would show reruns of Sabrina the Teenage Witch over and over again. They had Bratz trolls or trolls dolls, the ones where they were teenage girls. It was just then you had, I forget what, they had a bunch of them, but yeah, it was just kind of towards the tail end of what they were capable of doing. Nefertina, that's what it was. But yeah, I liked Mummy's Life. They did a lot of interesting things with the mythology. I remember there was that one episode where they had the sky goddess and the earth god, and they had a problem, or they were had marriage problems, and they had to get together. Oh, and they brought in one of the mummy's sons. His son was mummified, and he had powers too, but he was a little shit, and he spent a little bit of a time with Scarab. Scarab was the bad guy. That's right. I don't know what Salem's voice actor's up to. He played Norbert. Is that right? Norbert? He played one of the Angry Beavers. I know that. And he had a guest spot on That 70s Show. That's the last thing I saw him on, was That 70s Show. So yeah, I would watch anything Deke had on before school started, because I was the kind of kid that just I would watch a bunch of different cartoons. So no, I haven't seen the new Voltron cartoon, but I need to go and see that. I need to see that. And I have Netflix, so I can do that now. But I would watch all the different stuff they had during the 90s. They had, what did they? What did I tell you? I knew it. Okay. Oh, that's just an advertisement. Closed drive. I hate to do that, but we keep telling them we don't have anything. They've called 3 times this week. There's only so many times you can say, no, we really don't have anything. But, let's see. Hey, is Pidge a boy or a girl? Because I've heard 2 different things. I mean, I suppose I could just look it up, and I will. So, I'm just saying. What was I going to say? I was saying, oh yeah, UPN put all sorts of Deke shows on. They had the Wacky World of Tex Avery. I'm trying to think what else they had. They had Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Underground for a while. No way. Oh, it's Mom. Hold on. Good, mushy mushy. Hey, how's it going? Yeah. Why don't you give her a call on her cell phone? I'll go tell her that you're calling. Bye. I heard that from, I've been watching 2 best friends play their Yakuza video. I've streamed a bunch of that while I was doing this, so I've been catching up on that. Hold on a second. Okay, I see the problem now. Oh, okay. So it's one of those things. Hey, Zero, how you doing? Uh, but anyway, I just get a kick whenever one of those guys they go to a phone dating club, and he does this extreme pose when he picks up his phone, and then he just ends up saying "mushy mushy." Do I like Saturday Night Scrubblers or Friday Night Fisticuffs? Oh, pardon me. Oh, I've been drinking some Dr. Pepper. Do I like Scrub Lords or Fisticuffs? I like Fisticuffs. They do some interesting stuff. I don't know. Sometimes I get like halfway through those episodes, and I'm like, okay, well, that's about it. But I'm really kind of digging the Yakuza video right now that they're going through, just because like it's all side quests and it's all insane stuff. They've just come across at least from where I'm at in the video run, they've just come across like cat fighting, like cat fight that you can bet on, and it's insane, and it's like a mini game. I'm actually surprised about how much content is in this game, or in the Yakuza games, which is weird. Like why they're not. I understand why Pat loves them so much, but I could guess I could see why they're not popular here or more well known here, because they are super freaking Japanese. And I think that bubble may have burst a little while. I mean, it's still strong. The anime scene is still strong, but there was like a time in like the 2000s or the 90s when it was like super strong. Like if you wanted to get into the anime, like you had plenty to go on. There was a section back when I worked at Best Buy. I was just fresh out of high school, and that was my first real. Well, it wasn't my first job, but it was my first like customer service job. As everyone knows, I was infamously a bubblegum scraper for the schools for my first job, and that was just because I was like 14. I couldn't get like an actual real job, so I needed that. But anyway, back when I worked there, they had and this was of course before Netflix. This was literally when Netflix was just starting out, and they had a huge section dedicated to like anime, of course, and then they had like sports videos, like weird sports videos, like wrestling shows I've never even heard of, and race car driving, like weird series about race cars and stuff like that, and they even had like crappy old movies, like you would actually be shown at the Alamo Drafthouse now. Like they had Flesh Eating Mamas, which was this really bad 70s movie about a drifter that comes into town, and he basically has all sex with it's like Desperate Housewives, if afterwards the housewives were infected with this disease that made them eat human flesh. And they weren't zombies, they were just like cannibals. It was like the 70s, or like really low budget stuff. They had one movie about, what was it? I forget what the title was, but it was about this guy, and he found these cases of alcohol, gutter trash, I think it was. He found this secret room that had a bunch of cases of this alcohol, and it was like super, like he had tons and tons of it. And he made a quick buck by selling it to like all the winos and the bums that were out on the street. But it turned out that if you drank too much of it, it would make you melt. It was kind of like The Stuff, except with alcohol. which actually that's probably why you didn't see more of that, because it was exactly a premise that was street trash. Okay, very good, Pest. It was that premise, just done different. But and then of course they had anime, like tons of anime I've never even heard of. Like I accidentally picked up some like softcore, some like naughty stuff. Mouse. I picked up the first volume of Mouse by accident because I thought, oh well, this is just it says it's about a thief, and I like Jin the Bandit, so I'm gonna like pick the. Oh, whoa, okay. But anyway, it's funny that they were trying to push Netflix because my manager, who was an idiot, actually he reminds me of Paul Ryan. He literally reminds me of Paul Ryan. God. Wait, was his name Ryan? That was his last name? Was my manager Paul Ryan? No. But he looked like it. He was a very tall man, had those weird ears and that nose and deep blue eyes, and like a messed up doll. I don't mean like, oh, he has deep blue eyes. I mean like weird fucked up doll eyes. That's the kind of blue eyes I'm talking about. But anyway, he had just as much foresight as Paul Ryan, because he was all like, well, no, push the Netflix. And I said, well, isn't Netflix a movie service? And he's like, yeah, it's a totally a movie service. And I'm like, well, isn't that our competition? He said, well, no, not really, because, it's not going to take off that fast. And we sell it for $10. It costs we get a $5 profit on nothing. All we do is sell these little pieces of cardboard. They take it home. They sign up for the service, and they get to watch movies. And I said, but it's our competition. So what's going to happen if people watch this instead of our stuff? And he said, we'll worry about that later. Or no, he never even gave me an answer. It was just like, it's pure profit. It's like $5. It's pure profit. And I was like, okay, whatever. Ended up saying, oh yeah, that's Netflix. It's an internet service. And everyone kind of looked at it and was like, yeah, whatever. But hey, guess what? It totally ended up like, they've kind of got like a little bit left. I visited a few weeks ago because I needed some, not coolant, but whatever that gray stuff that you put in between your, you put it in between the processor and the cooling fan, or the heat sink. Anyway, I had to pick up some of that, and they've got all this. They've got like video games and stuff like that, because kids still need to go and look at things in order to buy them. Because that's what it basically is. They had like a bunch of those amiibos and stuff like that. And of course, people still need cell phones, and they want to look at whatever they're buying. So it's different. The movie, they've kind of killed it there, because it's now catering to older people who need, don't know what they're looking for and want to go in and just have a DVD, or collectors who want those Blu-ray sets, or just it's a smaller, more precise collection of DVDs now. When it used to be like they had everything. They had there was literally the middle of the store was like the largest department, and I was working there. Now, if I were in the media department, I would be in charge of 4 shelves. 2 shelves for CDs, 2 shelves for DVDs. No, 6 shelves for DVDs, and then maybe video games. So, yeah. But again, I just find it hilarious that the guy was just like, yeah, that's pure profit for us, baby. It's like not realizing that that would eventually be the service that would take a huge chunk out of their revenue. He's not there. Oh, we're talking about when Best Buy was pushing Netflix. Ooh, and Gamefly. Which, by the way, I tried Gamefly. I tried Gamefly because the two best friends said, oh, hey, try Gamefly. It'll be great. I tried it. I couldn't get the games on time. I mean, it took forever to kind of get a game. I mean, I got that one video game I reviewed, the bad one, the Cards of Destiny or Decks of Destiny or whatever. And then I spent too long actually playing Overwatch. I think Overwatch had an event or something, but I played too much. I played Overwatch too much. Spent like an extra week actually having that just sit there before I played it, because it really was a horrible game and I actually dreaded just booting the damn thing up. But when I returned that back, the service was just way too slow. So I only got like a game and a half out of my free trial. And I was thinking, well, if I spent $15 for a whole month, I'd still be only getting one game. It's like that's nothing. Like I was peeved as hell when I had to go and buy PlayStation Plus to play Overwatch, but I get 2 free games a month, and it's already basically paid for itself for the entertainment I've taken out of it. Oh, because like I said, I would go into Best Buy and drop like either anywhere between $12 to $25 to rent. Like new releases were always extra. So if you wanted to watch a new movie, that was extra, and then it was. I miss those days. But yeah, they were getting a little too complicated. Not complicated, a little pricey for the fact that YouTube was on, and they wasted most of their money on just like crap. Like, remember when Disney tried to put videos onto SD cards? Like, I walked by a bin one time of just Hannah Montana SD episodes that were just on the SD cards. I think that's because one of the Nintendo products played those things. No problem. But, yeah, it was just... Oh, I'm sure video rental is still alive in different places. I was hoping that it would. I was hoping that it would basically convert into what we have now with, like, we have certain bookstores that are just basically hangout spots. Like, people buy coffee there and just kind of sit around and shoot the shit. And they buy books, of course. But they're not as prevalent now as they were before. They're out sort of near Sun City with the older demographic. But I was hoping that would kind of morph into that thing where it was a specialty store, because there's still a bunch of vinyl stores around here. Hipster crap. But yeah, that just never took off. There was a few different stores that I was really hopeful, because even though Best Buy was gone, they were still sticking around, because they did. Again, I just insulted the hipsters, but that's the one demographic that was kind of keeping VHS going. Kind of like that one episode of Regular Show, where they still had a VHS store. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, Battleborn is free to play now. I think the last time they said 35 people were playing it worldwide, so that's just sad. God, I liked Battleborn. Not enough to play it though, which might be the problem. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna check that out, see if anything like going to. I'm gonna see if that actually, if anyone's playing that. Let's see. The only stuff I own digitally are Gravity Falls, Force Awakens, Garden Wall, Zombie Island, Halloween Tree. That's a pretty good collection. The problem is, and if I'm pretty good at this, I collect like VHS not tapes, but I collect VHS tapes and I collect the players. So, um, if they ever stop making those if they ever stop making VHSs, then I'm up shit creek. I'm hoping again. I'm hoping it'll take over like vinyl, where vinyl will just. I mean, they'll continue to make specialty VHS tapes at least until I'm in freaking in my 50s or something. I could get 20 years. I like at least 20 more years out of my Goodwill VHS collection. Have I heard of a movie called 52577? It's a movie about the first kid to see Star Wars and has been in developmental hell for 10 years. Wow. Well, what's the premise? It's just about the first kid who saw Star Wars? Or a kid who saw Star Wars when it first came out? Hmm. Sounds interesting. Again, by the way, I'm using pink here because when later on I will convert this layer to multiply, and it will then shade the figure. But I'm using the pink right now because it'll give it a nice red tint, the shade, and of course it's I can see what I'm doing because when I'm dealing with the black clothing. It made it very hard. It's not really that black. It's more or less a deep navy. It's kind of like what was it? What was it? It was God, I'm blanking. Dudley Do Right, starring Brendan Fraser. You remember that movie? I liked that movie. That was it was no George of the Jungle, but it was pretty funny for what it was. It was writing on that whole Disney bought out George of the Jungle and Dudley Do Right. They bought out that whole library. At least I think they did. They couldn't have, because George of the Jungle then ended up as a Cartoon Network cartoon. So yeah, I guess they just bought the rights to make those movies. But anyway, it's like that one part where Dudley becomes an anti-hero or a villain or whatever, and the plot in that's kind of confusing. But anyway, he becomes like an anti-hero or a badder villain than Snidely Whiplash. So he then goes up to Snidely and he says, "You're not wearing black. I'm wearing black." Hold on, the phone's ringing. Like I said, it's that time of the night when it's about a kid who's a filmmaker. His mom wants to support him, so they go to the Hollywood. Huh. That's interesting. Like I said, the problem is that it's that time of the night when all of Grandma's children start to call her and see how she's doing. But I bought her these headphones to help her listen to her TV better. They're like Bluetooth headphones. She wears them all around the house, you know. And she can't hear her cell phone. I can hear it because I've got good hearing. So they always end up calling the house number. But anyway, that sounds pretty interesting. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah. Deadly Do-Right goes up to Snidely Whiplash and says, "I'm wearing black, and you're wearing just a navy blue." And they hold up sleeves, and yes, indeed, Deadly is wearing a darker shade of black. Then, hello, Skinny. And then Snidely, I kind of like that one. I love the beginning of that movie, where Snidely is he's basically tricking the town into thinking that there's gold in the old abandoned mines, and he takes a shotgun full of gold dust and he's shooting up the mine walls. And then when Deadly comes and says, "What are you doing, Snidely Whiplash?" He doesn't say it. He just acts like Brendan Fraser. "Hey, JK, how's it going?" He just says, "What are you doing?" And then Snidely is all like, who actually did I don't know who the actor is, I forgot, but he actually did a good job playing Snidely. He's all like, "Well, I'm hunting werewolves. Everyone knows that in order to kill a werewolf, you have to shoot them with a silver or golden bullet." And that was his excuse. And then, what was it? What happened? Oh, yeah. And then later on, Dudley goes home. Then the townspeople show up and they say, "Well, what's going on?" And he's like, "Oh, there's just werewolves in the woods." And he basically ends up freaking out the whole townspeople just by saying, "Oh yeah, there's werewolves out there. You know, these the mountains are teeming with them." Dr. Octopus was Oh, that's cool. Hey Johnny, how's it going? God, I gotta rewatch that now just to see that one scene because it's actually pretty good. He's good in it, and Brendan Fraser is actually decent in it. He's not the Dudley Do-Right, but he does pretty good. And the fact he just gives this deadpan reply is all like, "Oh yeah, there's werewolves out there." It's like it's teeming with them. Oh yeah, the Wallace and Gromit voice actor died. He was like 91. I think he was in his 90s, so he had a damn good run. And in the end, that's the best you can hope for. But yeah, weren't they supposed to make a TV series? I thought they were gonna make a TV series, starting that up again. Or am I thinking of something else? Huh. Yeah. Speaking of werewolves, I guess I still haven't seen that Were Bunny movie of Wallace and Gromit. 96. Holy crap. Well, good for him. What other movies did they? Oh yeah, Inspector Gadget. Disney made one of those. I guess Disney was just like banking on like old cartoons in the '90s for some reason. I was on. Oh yeah, let's see. And then the voice actor who played Pig on Back to the Barnyard, who was also Bushroot, and the uncle on Bobby's World. He died as well. He died young, unfortunately. Um, and I think he was also the stand-in voice actor for John Candy when it came to Camp Candy. Remember that series, Camp Candy? Um, I'm sorry, I got caught up looking at the things. Yeah, the shorts were better, I guess. Yeah, I know there were two Inspector Gadget movies. There was that one, and then there was the made-for-TV one. Oh, speaking of which, remember when Disney tried to re-resurrect? Oh, oh God, J.K. Jeez, Underdog. Yeah, Underdog. That was a thing, now wasn't it? The sad part is that there was an animated series in the works, and it looked like it was pretty darn good. Uh, but anyway, let's see. What was I gonna say about? Oh God, I was thinking. Oh yeah, Inspector Gadget, and then the made-for-TV movie. Oh yeah, and Disney tried to resurrect the Wonderful World of Disney after they had bought an ABC or something like that. I should have reviewed. I should review Tower of Terror now that it's now the. Oh God! Now that it's the Guardians of the Galaxy escape ride, and it's like, ugh. But isn't that a thing? That's weird. I mean, Disney had a Twilight Zone ride, a freaking Twilight Zone ride. It's like I guess Disney really did just wanted to buy the rights to everything. What is the Disney Vault? Like, really? I mean, they. The Disney Vault is basically just putting it away for, when you can, like, sell it on a new format and then bringing it out when there's a different format. So that's the Disney Vault right there. And there's also no reason to have the Disney Vault because you can perpetually sell every Disney movie on the cloud now. You can like sell it digitally and not have to worry about production costs. Let's see. Uh, what are we talking about? One Saturday morning? I remember one Saturday morning, and then I remember that was converted to whatever the weekday. There was a version for the weekday when they just don't turn into a Walt is love, Walt is life person. No, I'm not. I'm not. Did I sound like I was giving uh, Disney a pat on the head? No. The Tower of Terror movie has nothing to do with the Twilight Zone. Yeah, I know, but it was promoted as the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror when the ride first came up. Do they still do that? Or I guess they don't do it now since it's Rocket Raccoon and what's his face is Groot's Adventure. God, just replace I am Groot with Get Her Done or and you've basically got that thing. It's like a catchphrase that just kind of. Actually, no. I guess it's not just a catchphrase. I mean, Groot is pretty damn endearing. I just, it's the cynicism in me that just kind of makes me turn my nose up when things start to run rampant. I will say there is a series of animated shorts on YouTube where Groot and Rocket Raccoon, they're just trying to get enough money to buy a new ship. And the animation's actually pretty damn good. Like, really good. I mean, the modeling is great on them, and there's actually it's a bunch of shorts. Just look them up. You should be able to see them. Yes, JK. This is a commission of for a book cover, basically. Hey, EB, how's it hanging? Yeah, I think you could, May. That sounds interesting. I haven't seen a lot of Toad Patrol. I saw like a little bit of it. Is it really that popular? Yeah. Oh, yeah. The background, the faces. Let's see. What was the exact wording in the notes? Background. Primary background. Swirling ghost faces as representation of the story's secondary antagonist. Also above DNC, I would like to be thinking of two large purple eyes glowing at the characters, indicating of this. Indicative, ooh, nice, la-di-da, of the central antagonist. Jack Kirby is a one-time costume designer. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jack Kirby did a bunch of stuff. He basically was designing toys in his final, not his final days, but in his like run in the 80s. Oh yeah. And Tim Curry, poor Tim Curry. The reason why Tim Curry's not in anything anymore, well, he can be, hopefully. I believe he suffered a stroke, but some time back. Damn, I want to hear his voice again. Can you send me some screenshots of my letter? I forgot what I wrote. Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, you even did a nice little drawing of what the beard would look like. You also, and then there's something in the side. Also, his magic aura is red. If you want to play with that. Oh, Oh, he's an Over the Garden Wall? Okay, then I definitely need to see that. Good, good. Okay, so I've just been missing him. Okay, so I've just been missing him. So that's good. I'm glad he's slowly recovering. Quick, who's everyone's favorite Tim Curry? Well, I don't care what Doug says. I like it. I like the original series. He can be a smartass all he wants. If someone holds a balloon floating around with nothing attached to it, it's still weird. If you saw something whimsical that need, I saw yesterday. Or no, I was in the library, and I saw like a kid, like a huge kid. He seemed like he was in a stroller, and he looked like he was at least 4 years older than he should have been in order to be sitting in a stroller, and it kind of just creeped me out a little bit. I mean, it was like a little off-putting, and I know that okay, he couldn't. I mean, it wasn't even like he fit the stroller, and I don't know what his story is, if he's if that's just his way of getting around, if there's some sort of developmental thing, but uh, I was just that just popped in my head like a balloon floating around by itself without like any wind or anything like that. It's just like there's like if something seems out of place to you and your brain can't process it, then it will seem scary to you. But the thing is, it needs to be in front of you. In a movie, if it's not sold in the movie, if the quote unquote uh, suspension of disbelief doesn't get to you, then it will seem ridiculous. But if it is kind of off-putting, it's like what's the easiest thing now to do? Put a creepy record of like an old song out there. It's like ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, ashes, and then that's ashes is when the song gets all like distorted or it slows down like ashes, ashes, we all fall down or something like that. That's like the easiest thing to do now. Uh, but like back in the 80s or the 90s, that was some new tech when it came to like scary, uh, you know, making whimsical things scary as crap. Uh, and of course, that would be when there'd be a jump scare and the bong. Or no, you should see what Mike Stelazzo makes a horror pitch. Just look at Red Letter Media and look up horror pitch. It's this great breakdown of like modern horror uh, that Red Letter Media does, and it's basically just like it's every cliche about like people hiding in the walls and stuff like that. Which, by the way, "Ring Around the Rosie" is actually a song about what was it, like an epidemic, like the red fever or something. Like "Ashes, Ashes, We All Fall Down" is literally about like either I forget what it was, either about burning corpses that had the infection, or actually believing that ash would keep away the disease. So "Ashes, Ashes, We All Fall Down." It doesn't have the whimsical tone that it should. Oh, that also reminds me of Disney's "The Truth Behind Mother Goose," where it's where Oh, the Black Plague. That's right. Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posy, pocket full of posy, as a way of keeping it away, or like you don't want to hear the messed up story behind Red Rover. Red Rover. I'm just joking. That's literally a child's game about sending people over. That was great. I love that game because I was always the biggest kid. I've been like 6 foot. I've been 6 foot since I was in fourth grade. So when we did play Red Rover, it was just like, for those who don't know, I think the variation that we would play is that you'd lock arms or lock hands, and if the person couldn't break through the hands, then they had to be sent back over. Uh, you'd run at full speed and try to like burst through, basically destroy these two kids' wrists. Uh, I'm just thinking of all the crazy crap we used to do as kids. Like we had metal, like we it was just coming out of the age about where adults were actually concerned about what their kids were doing. So we still had like burning hot metal slides and uh, just all sorts of crazy crap. But anyway, I'm as you can see, I'm kind of just adding the glow effects. I wanted to do this little shine on the sword, but I ended up doing something else. You'll see. Uh, just wait. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. I had to move them out of the way. I'll bring them out. Ah, there we go. They're just away. I put it away for the bug guy, so that wouldn't get in his way. Anyway, yeah, logos. Let's see. Noob asked me to make two versions, one with the logo and one without. I posted the one with the logo on my DA. Yeah, I was trying to figure out what would be a good logo for this. I kind of came up with just. I think this is okay. The top logo is okay. I did something a little bit more unique with the bottom logo, as you'll see. I tried to make it look like a map with kind of distressed edges and things like that. Anyway, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about To Catch a Predator? What happened for the 5 seconds that I was gone? Yeah, the bottom font is the star of the show. I'm not gonna lie. But I was just trying to think about what would be good for this, and I was just thinking, well, Tales from the Hideout, that's fine. It's a little bright right now. I will desaturate the colors right now. Basically, the time before Facebook existed. Oh, you mean the golden age? God, Facebook. I don't have Facebook, and I don't. Yeah, I have one, but I never use it. Anyway, I guess it's okay. It looks a little better when you adjust it and yeah, make these little tweaks to a font. It still kind of just looks, I don't know. If I needed to go back and make an official Tales from the Hideout logo, I will. But the bottom one is the one that kind of shines. Oh yeah, here's. Oh, by the way, I had to go into Adobe Illustrator to make these two because, of course, Seiya doesn't have text capabilities. Uh, and for some reason, OBS won't capture anything you do in Adobe Illustrator. I don't know why. But anyway, as you can see, okay, here we go. Here's where I start playing with. God, I love this green stuff. Now this reminds me of something like out of the '90s, like something you'd see on a Stephen King book. The kind of wavy, greenish lines. And then you'll see where I start to do something, but then turn around and start doing something a little bit else. Twitter's fine. I was thinking the other day. I was thinking like, oh God, Twitter sucks because it gives people like Nazi Spencer and Alex Jones. It gives them a platform to be just the biggest dumbasses in the world. But then I'm thinking, well, what else is there? If I wanted to just say a quick 2-word sentence to people to let them know what I was doing, what would I use? And the answer was Twitter, because it comes more from the point where, yeah, it's still a tool. I can still use it. Where Facebook, I just don't see. The interface pisses me off. I don't know how it works. Grandma's on Facebook, but she asks me how it works, and usually I'm good with like saying, oh well, Grandma, this is how this works, or this is how that works. When it comes to Facebook, I'm just like, oh, piss off. I'm not going to do that. It's like, no, you figure it out. It's like, but I want to see my grandchildren's photo. No, you don't need to. Any photo of your grandchildren on Facebook, you screw it. But anyway, yeah, I went back into Illustrator, and I made this because it was just easier to make those little cutout shapes. Make it look like an actual city of death. So yeah, like, I was just thinking that Twitter is actually just like the pure simplest, hey, here's what I'm doing right now. I'm playing a video game. Boom. I'm doing an Artcast. Boom. I'm doing this. Boom. I will be here, here, and here when this. Oh, sorry, I can't do this. Boom. Facebook, I just don't get the interface. People can like it. People can comment underneath it. I mean, they can do all those things, but I still don't. I don't get it. But anyway, also I've started figuring out how the watercolor brush works, and it's good at blending. There used to be a blending tool in Photoshop that I would use, and it was just that finger tool, and it would blend things real nicely. The watercolor does sort of the same thing, a little bit differently. It picks up on colors a little different, kind of smears them around, but you get that nice clean effect. What's this going down? Oh, it says page not found. Tumblr's okay. Tumblr's got the same problem though. Is like there's no, you have to create a, if you want to save anything then you just like it, but you can't like add it to a category or anything. Like there's so many pages on Tumblr that I've faved and saved and all that stuff, but I can't get to them because they're just buried. Same thing with Twitter, I guess, except I hardly ever just liking on Twitter is just like a nice little hand clap, I think. I don't go back to that. If there's anything on Twitter that I like and I need it, then I save it immediately right then. Good night, Zach. We're almost done. We've got like maybe about a couple more minutes. After this, it'll just be adding some glowing effects, and then that'll be it. But yeah, like Twitter, I think is like the purest form of just, hey, this is just what's happening. Here's an article you can read now that was published today, or here's something I found a couple weeks. It's just like information, pure and simple. But yeah, and then again, Tumblr is kind of like that, but except for, I mean, it's a little bit more where you can comment on things and not have to run around, but I don't know. There's still no good site out there, I don't think. DeviantArt's good, except it's got a stigma to it. Pardon me, it's got a stigma to it now, and unfortunately, hey, but it's still a place where you can save everything and visit it later. But anyway, yeah, I was real kind of happy with the way the City of Death turned out with the glowing effect. Made it look very ethereal. And of course I made it look like the bridge had broke in between those two, so I think that looks pretty cool. Yeah, I added a little bit of glowing effect on Tales from the Hideout. I was originally going to make it a map, but then I was like, oh, well, I can't do that because if I do that, then you won't be able to see the face or the eyeballs behind it. There's two different versions of this. One that's just regular. Noob has access to both of them. I put this one version on DA, so that just stays there. Okay, you can see here's the attempt to make it look like a map. And where I was like, oh, no, that'll just hide that won't do. That won't do at all. And then we're going to add some glowing effects real soon to make it look all spooky and scary. Yeah. What the hell is dig? No one said it in the comments right now, but I see that every time. Like there's even an option right here that says, "Oh, you want to share this with Facebook or Twitter and and then dig. What the hell's dig?" Okay, well anyway, this is the final design right here. So yeah, I think this goes on for a little bit. That's pretty much the end of it. I'm just gonna final roundup. Thank you all for joining me. This was really fun. I'm gonna probably have another one of these for tomorrow. I don't know. I may play some Hearthstone, or I may just continue to do these. Because like I said, I have a whole catalog built up with just these Artcasts. But anyway, thank you all for joining me. I'll talk at you later. If you got any final thoughts, just stick a pin in them and then save them for next time. Anyway, everyone have a good night. Thank you for joining me, and be cool.